Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? I was over here just walking around these cattle, making sure everybody's doing okay. About to feed them some breakfast. I was over here when I realized that their poop is clumping up. This is what cattle poop looks like when they need more protein. How it's clumped up like that. Within maybe 5 seconds of me being here, just walking around these cattle, I'm able to tell that these cattle, they have been eating this corn stover. This corn stover has too little protein in it. They need more protein in their diet. I went from seeing one animal that I had that was showing signs of needing more protein in his diet, protein in their diet. Before I put him out front, he's doing fine. Slowpoke, he's actually pooping just fine now. I'm seeing these poop balls everywhere. So these animals, I would say at this point, a majority of this herd is experiencing protein deficiency. I'm seeing them just everywhere. I'll probably find some out here too. I would almost guarantee it. Let me take a look. Well, poop out here actually looks a little decent. Here's one right there. When these cattle, their poop clumps up, it's a sign that they need more protein in their diet. Taking a look around, this is actually a good looking one right here. Yep, these poops are clumping up. They're turning into little balls. A bovine's poop should be sort of like a flat, like they call them cow patties, but they should be wet. They should be, they should be a little bit more. Oh, here's one right here too. They stepped on this one, but this is a real clumped up poop. So yep, these animals are definitely experiencing a lack of protein in their diet. It's just super easy way to tell. Here's one right here. It's clumped up in a ball. It's starting to ball up. So these animals, I'll give them a little bit more protein this morning. I'll feed them a little extra. I gotta clean their poop up while they're eating their breakfast. I put this corn stover over here. Major reason I put this corn stover over here was because soil is gonna be like this. It's a real foggy morning today. It's just fogging up. Major reason I put corn stover over here for these animals is because this ground is so wet. Let me go turn this water off real quick. I did take a walk around my pasture, around this pasture yesterday, to take a few mental notes of what is going on in this pasture, to see what I could do in terms of providing these cattle a forage, if I should do anything. I put fertilizer on here, see what this grass is looking like. From what I saw yesterday, I'm gonna go right back over to this pasture. I had to go turn their water. I had to go. Their water was on. So okay. Here's a good little patch right here. This is wood. This will do just fine. So what I saw yesterday was that there's a lot of dead grass in here still. This grass has yet to rot or anything like that. What will likely happen is that this grass will be here on this field until I till it into this soil. Cattle have been walking around on this field. This soil is so wet that this soil is wet to a point that when these animals are walking around it, it's actually digging up these grass plants. It's digging up grass when they walk on this field. So if I drove a tractor over here right now on soil like this, my the tractor tires would rip up any grass that it went over. So if I drove a tractor over here, as I drove through this field, tractor tires would do a lot of damage to this grass. So if I drove that tractor over here to put fertilizer on this field, there would be a lot of damage on this field. I figured my best thing to do would be to, I'm just gonna, well, it's going to rain all week. It's going to rain something like 5 or 6 days out of this week. We are going to get somewhere between 2 to 3.5 inches of rain. That was my big reason for getting this corn stover over here for these cattle to begin with, was to keep them from having to stand around in muddy soil. I have a real heavy clay soil here. Cattle get real agitated. They'll just stand around. These animals, they'll just stand around when ground is wet. Some of them will get health problems if they get real wet. If they get real tired, they'll start getting pneumonia. They'll start getting sick. All sorts of problems happen when these animals are just standing around on real wet soil. So that was my big reason to bring in this corn stover to begin with. This corn stover, well, in all honesty, I may just push their bales around to get that corn stover. Instead, I would prefer if they ate. Well, if they eat this corn stover, it messes up their diet. A majority of this herd is showing signs of protein deficiency at this point. It's only been 24 hours. Cattle, they're roaming. It takes them something like a really easily digestible food. They may digest it in under 2 days. When they're showing signs of having digestion problems, though, that food could be sitting in their gut for like 4 days. So if these animals are getting a low quality diet, that diet could be that food, that whatever it is, could be sitting in their stomach for up to 4 days. So to me, that's like losing half a week's of work, which is like, why would I do that? I got over here this morning. I took a look around. I immediately noticed their poop. I may just push this corn stover around to put it over here as bedding, so when this forage is just sprawled out like this, is just sprawled around like this, they tend to have less of an appetite for it. When it's kind of piled up for whatever reason, like if it's in a big ball or something, these cattle will be more likely to eat it, is what I've seen, just in terms of their behavior. So, yep, them eating this corn stover is causing them to have early signs of digestive problems, of needing a more nutritious diet. Like this one right here, I may just go ahead, just toss it around. This corn stover, I have it in here as bedding, mostly. From what I've seen, if an animal, like let's say weather conditions just get horrible, if I get 2 animals that get sick, This is when corn stover is in season. If I get like I may have to pay $55 for a tonnage of it right now. When it's in season though, it costs about 40. So if I have an animal this size get sick, I have to give that animal antibiotics. I use a good high quality antibiotic. For BRD, I use Zactran gamethromycin. If I have to give them a shot of gamethromycin at this size, it'll cost me about $20. One of these bales will cost me about $40 when it's in season, $55 when it's like right now. This usually also when one animal gets sick, it's usually 2 or 3 animals that get sick when weather is horrible. So if I have to treat 3 animals with antibiotics, that I may as well just have gave them good bedding. I would have saved $5. I would have saved $20 by just giving them good bedding. Also, if an animal gets sick, that animal is going to be kind of just... They're going to be kind of... They're going to be sick. Even though they get an antibiotic, they'll be sick for like 3 days. They'll just be getting a little better, little better, little better. Until they're just back eating, doing okay. I have also had a situation in this barn where animals were... where this ground was real wet. An animal was sleeping up, pushed up against a hay roll. Then these cattle, when they're just in a big old group like this, under a barn, they'll start pushing each other around. They'll get agitated, so they'll start ramming into each other. I had one animal fall over another animal. When he fell over, he fell on his back, which caused him to essentially be stuck on top of that animal. There was an animal right here, let's say. An animal rolled over and fell on his back, so there was zero way for him to get up. His legs were up like this. Animal was underneath him, so they were both stuck. When I got home from work, saw what was going on, I ran out here. I immediately got I immediately separated, or just did what I could for him. I got him propped back to where he was on where his legs were like that. So I got him rolled over again, got him away from that other animal. They both ended up dying. Yep. I got home from work. I immediately ran out here. I got them situated. They still both ended up dying. That's why I have 2 bales of corn stover. That's why I have one over here and then I have one outside, so that these animals separate, so it keeps that from happening again. Yeah, that was So I mean, all these cattle, all these cattle are wonderful animals. So I need to keep them alive. I need to keep them healthy. I need to keep them happy. I need to keep them in a good situation. Also, that hay that happened with, it was just a grass hay. So one major big difference that I have personally seen with corn stover with in comparison to grass hay is that corn stover, it does this. When these cattle sort it, they just toss it everywhere. Like if this was a roll of grass, so cattle sort through corn stover a whole lot more than they do grass. They're more willing to just eat a mouthful of grass than to just eat a mouthful of just random corn stover. They'll sort through a majority of it, so they'll push this around a lot. A grass bale with a hay ring around it for 30 animals this size will last about 4 days. This corn stover, they've sorted it so much, they've just thrown it around so much that this corn stover bale, 2 of them, well, they're going through about 1 a day, just sorting it. They just push it around everywhere. So that's why this is such good bedding. Would I feed corn stover to cattle this size? This corn stover, it's a good corn stover. They're still having dietary issues on this stuff. So corn stover as a food source for young calves, probably need to think that over. Maybe it'd be okay if they had a large amount of protein supplementation. Who knows? Just as a solo feed source, horrible idea. It's just my personal belief from what I've seen. It's only been 24 hours. Their poop is already clumping up. I already see it everywhere. They pooping balls. All right. Well, that's it from me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.